Well, I hope you ladies are as happy as I am to see and you're all alive and raring to grow. Well, it's time to get growing. Now your roses are uncovered, you've got them pruned back. Now it's time to give them their first bath of the season. And they need it. You need a shower when you wake up to be refreshed and ready to go. They need it to be ready to grow. Now, when we make our spray, the spray I'm going to show you is a basic spray. What you're going to do is anytime you have to use a medication, that's an insecticide, pesticide, miticide, or fungicide, you're going to add it to the spray, and the solution I use is a fruit tree spray at 25% of the recommended rate, only if I need to and only on the plants that need the solution. The basic solution is 1 cup of antiseptic mouthwash. Antiseptic mouthwash is bacteriostats. It screws up the sex life of diseases so they don't even get a chance to get going. And we'll do that again every 2 weeks. 1 cup. 1 cup of liquid dish soap. The soap washes off the pollution from all winter because they're dirty. Just like when you take your shower, it's to wash off the number one. If you're doing it in the afternoon, it's the afternoon. In the morning, you want to be refreshed. 1 cup of chewing tobacco juice. Chewing tobacco juice is nicotine. It's a contact poison. It's an ingestion poison. It discourages the insects from coming around because it's both a contact poison and ingestion poison. The way you make chewing tobacco juice is take your thumb and 3 fingers, get a big clutch of chewing tobacco. The reason we use chewing tobacco is because it has molasses. That's my sugar source. That is then tied into the toe of a nylon stocking, put down into a pint of boiling hot water. If you're into gardening and you have a lot of roses like I do, then you're going to put the whole package into a nylon stocking, marinate it in a gallon of water, and then you're ready to spray. You're going to fill the balance of the sprayer with water, attach it to the hose end sprayer, and then you're going to wash down all of the rose ladies, including everything else in the garden too, every 2 weeks after 7 o'clock at night for the rest of the growing season to ensure that they're fresh and clean and ready to grow and that nothing disturbs them or bothers them so that they can be the royal lady they are, the queen of your garden. It's wake-up time for your roses. They want a breakfast. They just woke up. They're hungry and a bear coming out of hibernation, and they want breakfast, and they want it now. No, they don't want ham and eggs. They want bananas, though. That's part of it. And I'm going to show you how to mix up their breakfast of rose champions. You're going to take 5 pounds of fertilizer, a balanced fertilizer. Doesn't matter what kind it is, as long as it's balanced. That's the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. That's all the trace elements and minor elements. That's their 1 a day. Only this one's going to last them from now all the way through until fall. Then you're going to use 1 pound of Epsom salts. Epsom salts is a rose's best friend. Any rosarian will tell you. 1 cup of Epsom salts mixed with fertilizer. Now the Epsom salts deepens the color, thickens the petal, and increases root structure. That's what we need for the entire growing year. We need plenty of energy. 1 cup of sugar. Sugar, again, sugar feeds the bacteria in the soil, which breaks down this crunchy, munchy food for them so that they can take it up because they don't have teeth. Well, they got thorns, they just don't have teeth. And 2 cups of bone meal. Bone meal is a slow release fertilizer that's going to last over the entire season. And then what we need is we need potassium in the form of bananas. Never throw out banana peels if you're a rosarian. You can dry them out in the sun, or you can put them in the microwave, or you can put them in the oven and dry them out real good. And then I put them on the driveway and I rub them with a rock and make them into fine powder. And then each one of the roses will get their supply. But right now I'm going to make it real powdery and dry, mix it into this whole solution. And then I'm going to feed each of the roses a liberal handful right now to get them off and going. Then I go to the all-purpose Green Up Tonic from then on. But right now, it's the breakfast of rose champions, so they get up and they're roaring to grow for the rest of the season. It's summertime and we're concerned with keeping cool and comfortable. Your roses are concerned with keeping cool and comfortable. because if they don't stay cool and comfortable, if they get dry and warm, you're going to lose the foliage, you're going to lose the flowers. Now, one of the ways that can happen is if you improperly cultivate, and cultivating is something that you want to be very careful underneath roses. These are the tools that we use in vegetable gardens where things go deep, and I'm side dressing yourself, call it side cultivating. Don't use tools like this around your roses because the roots are just very shallow underneath the soil. If you're going to use anything, you'd use something like this winged weeder, or you would use this hand tiller in order to kill weeds. Pull your weeds, get them all cleaned up, put your preening green down, or your preen, then put your mulch over it, shredded bark. That's what you want. And you want it 2 to 3 inches deep. And when it decomposes, it feeds the roses as it decomposes because it gives off natural food. Now, along with putting mulch down in order to keep the moisture in the soil, keep the temperature consistent, and then not letting the water evaporate too fast, it's also a place where you can put repellents in there for insects and varmints that come around, especially mice and voles and things like that. If you take paradichlorobenzene moth crystals, mix those into your mulch, that will discourage many of the borer insects from coming around. Also, if you add the skin of 2 oranges, shred it real fine, mix it with this size can of paradichlorobenzene, mix it on soil and put it through your rose garden, the cats won't come in there. Want to keep snakes out, it's 2 skins of lemons mixed with this size can of paradichlorobenzene, keep them out. You can sprinkle cayenne pepper onto the soil, and that will keep cats and dogs and other varmints and for any furry varmint around. You can use garlic. Garlic is an excellent spray. You can buy it commercially or you can make it yourself. Onion juice, any one of a number of things will keep your roses comfortable and cool. Mulch, put a guard down, and they'll smile and be just as cool as can be, and then you'll be cool too because you won't be upset when you come out and find them just happier and all get up. On a hot summer day, there's nothing tastes better than a cool drink of water. For you, well, that's the same way with your roses. And on top of that, plants are like people, and we both need water to survive. And on hot days, we need more than on cool days. But the one thing with roses are that you don't want to be out there turning the sprinkler on, just let it go over the top of it, because that's when you get black spot and all of the other diseases that come. There are a couple of ways you can water your roses. The best way, if you've got a rose bed or several roses, is using these soaker hoses. And the water comes out through the side of it. It does sprinkle all over. You put it under the mulch. I like to go 3 to 4 inches down into the soil. The other way is when you want to spot water, is spot water with a wand where you can literally control the water, get down deep. Roses like to have moisture down as far as 8 to 10 inches. I like that amount of moisture. And I like them watered in the morning time, not at night. You can also attach to the wand, you can now attach these feeder units that the fertilizer's in so you can feed and water at the same time. And again, when you water, what happens is if you get up high, then you've really got a problem because now this foliage will get really wet, but you can go inside and drop the water down to where it really gets down. Now the rose has enough water that when it sweats, it perspires. There's more than enough to adequately suffice to keep it comfortable and not cause other problems. But if you don't keep them cool, keep them watered well with the right piece of equipment at the right time, you're going to have a whale of a problem. Don't. Watering is not a science, it's an art. So practice your art. Always paint the most beautiful rose picture you can think of by watering it the right way at the right time. It's summertime, and it's time for nice, light meals for you and I. It's also time for a nice, light, even, balanced, comfortable, good-tasting meal for your roses. And they work so hard producing so many flowers that they need something extra special. So I alternate the food that I give them. Now, in the spring of the year, we gave them their fertilizer, the bone meal, the Epsom salts, all of the heavy stuff they needed to really get off and really get going. And especially that Epsom salts really helps us go. Now we're going to start, and every 3 weeks we're going to feed them the all-purpose tonic. And the all-purpose tonic consists of 1 can of beer. Beer is an enzyme activator that triggers all of the other materials and elements to work. And so it's 1 can of beer. I call it the enzyme activator. The only thing better than that is spit. 1 cup of household ammonia. Ammonia is a nitrogen source. Nitrogen is what causes the green. It's very fast. It's sort of like lemonade to the plants. 1/2 cup of liquid dish soap. The dish soap washes off the pollution, so black spot and all of the other funguses that come to the plant, to the roses especially, their foliage doesn't come in. 1/2 cup of ordinary lawn food so that they get their vitamins. Again, they're being fed every 3 weeks, and they're getting fed before 10 o'clock in the morning. They get 1/2 cup of clear corn syrup. Corn syrup is the sugar. The sugar is what they need in order to feed the bacteria so that the food breaks down so that they can eat their food. That is then poured into the hose end sprayer, and that will be fed to them every 3 weeks. Now, every 2 weeks, what I'm going to do is alternate. And here, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of liquid fish emulsion, also known as liquid fish fertilizer. 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of instant tea. Instant tea is tannic acid, and instant tea is something that all plants like. The tannic acid helps them digest their food better. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder is a leavening, and a leavening helps them, again, stabilize the food. 1 teaspoon of liquid iron. Now, iron is when the leaves are yellow on the inside and the veins are dark. That's a lack of iron. 1 teaspoon of iron. You literally could give it more, but it would just waste it. And last but not least, 1 teaspoon of dry red wine. Now, dry red wine, the vintners of old used to put wine, the wine findings back into the garden. And the reason that they did that is because it fed the bacteria underneath, and they really loved that. This is then applied at 1 quart for each rose bush once every 2 weeks. If you go back and forth between this combination of fertilizers and sprays, your plants will love you, and you'll love your plants because they'll be the most beautiful roses that you ever saw in the neighborhood. And that's all you can ask. Ask not what your roses can do for you, but what you can do for your roses, and that's to give them a good, balanced meal.